Hello, everyone, and welcome to Around South Jersey, number 2. Jim Quinn along with Joe Condo, and we're going to talk about the election, and we're going to start it from the beginning. As we just done, we had some audio problems, but hopefully they're fixed now, and thanks for everyone who let us know about those. And Joe, it was an interesting election, obviously. I guess the top of the ticket had an effect on a lot of the ticket here in Cumberland.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, nobody saw this coming. It was obviously not a great, or at least nobody on our team saw this coming. I don't know what the Democrats knew, but we were told right up until almost Election Day that it was neck and neck. It was neck and neck.
Yeah.
They were within the margins.
Yeah.
I had not really seen any polls ever that had shown Jack sufficiently ahead to say they were outside the margins. But I didn't see any polls that said he was behind by 13 points.
Wow, is that what it was?
So it ended up being like 13 points, I think,
Wow.
in the end. And so it really was it wasn't just a blue wave, it was a blue tsunami. And I know a lot of people say, use tsunami like it's a big wave. But the thing about a tsunami is it's a surprise wave. It comes out of nowhere.
Right.
And that's what this looks to be. And it certainly, if it was just Cumberland County, we'd be having a different conversation. But clearly, this was throughout the state, and then even one might argue it affected New York, it affected Virginia. But I'm going to focus entirely, obviously, on New Jersey and mostly on Cumberland County. And so what we saw in that was that there was just a tremendous outpouring of angst among Democrat voters, for the most part. And I look at this compared to 2021. In 2021, excuse me, the Republicans were just incensed because they felt that Donald Trump had been deprived of a re-election. The Democrats stole the election in 2020. We were on lockdown from COVID. People were mandating vaccine. It was a mess. So the Republicans came out in big numbers in 2021 because they were upset, where Democrats were fairly contented. They got Trump out of the White House. Everything was locked down for COVID. Nobody came out to vote. So the Republicans did particularly well in 2021. Fast forward 4 years, Trump's back in the White House. The Democrats are very upset that Trump is back in the White House. They're protesting, they're marching. The government shutdown certainly was.
It didn't help, yeah.
It didn't help the Republicans. It's amazing to me how the Democrats got the upper hand on that spin, but we'll do a different show on that. But the government shutdown certainly didn't help the Republicans at all. And going right into Election Day, you see the same sort of behavior. MAGA Republicans especially, right, this breed of Republicans, they tend not to really care so much about state issues. They're President Trump loyalists. It was actually my hairdresser way back in 2017 where I knew she was a big Trump supporter back in 2016, trying to encourage her to get out and vote in 2017. And she's the first one that told me, she says, we're not Republicans, we're MAGA. Like she had no interest at all.
Wow. Holy cow.
And I saw a lot of that in our Republican primary this year too, by the way. So the MAGA voters didn't come out in the numbers we sort of needed them to come out. Most Republicans were content, don't pay a lot of attention to state issues anyway. So it was interesting, though. We got more votes here in Cumberland County, at least our county commissioners did. We got more votes in 2025 than we did in 2021. We actually did better in 25 than we did in 21. Somehow the Democrats did 50% better.
Wow.
50% better. And I know that Governor-elect Cheryl, she got almost presidential year numbers. Fortunately for us, I guess it doesn't make a bunch of difference if you lose by 100 votes or 100,000. But she did not have the coattails, at least not in Cumberland County, that one might think. But it didn't matter. In the end, the two Democrats in Cumberland County managed to unseat the two incumbent Republicans. And congratulations to Commissioner-elect Capizzola and Commissioner-elect Garcia Balicki. There we are. There we have the numbers. In 2021, the Republicans got 17,000. That was the last gubernatorial election. The Republicans got 17,000 votes. The Democrats got 13.
Wow.
So Republicans this year actually did better, as I said. I mean, Doug got 19,000, Tory got almost 19,000. So we did close to 2,000 votes better than we did 4 years ago. The Democrats somehow managed to get from 13 and change to nearly 20.
Wow.
That's a 50% increase. So they just did a better job of getting their voters who were stoked up out to the polls, and Republicans were just not able to get our voters as stoked as the Democrats were. They just. The good news for us, I say it might have been a good short-term decision for the Democrats, but I'm not sure that it was a good long-term decision, because now they basically have showed us their playbook. And if I have the playbook in my hands, believe me, we know by 2 weeks since the election, we know exactly what happened now. You think I haven't been poring over these numbers in every election precinct in Cumberland County for the past 2 weeks? So we know exactly what happened, and we're obviously going to take corrective action so that it doesn't happen again next year.
Yeah, it certainly surprised me. I guess Johnny Capozola seemed to have a little bit of the edge there.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, on behalf of Tory Loads, I am so sorry. Tory, thank you for the great job you did of representing Cumberland County. And when I've had her on the show, and she's hosted shows for me, she's sharp as a knife, very, very good, very knowledgeable, and unfortunately, timing. It's all timing. Right. I mean, I know, you won with timing. I lost with bad timing.
Right.
Florio. So it isn't necessarily the quality of the person as it is the timing.
Yeah, there are, as Senator Testa often likes to say, there are environmental wins and there are candidate wins. This is environmental. You mentioned our days in the early 90s.
Right.
If we have a few minutes, we talk about that, because I think it's relevant to what we're experiencing here. I mean, you can't qualify this in any other way other than the Republicans took a shellacking on Election Day. I mean, it was just a shellacking. And to try to, there were certainly some bright spots, but by and large, the party got really whacked. But that reminded me of 1989. In 1989, Jim Florio, who was the congressman in the Camden Congressional District, a seat that's now held by George Norcross's little brother, Donnie Norcross, Jim Florio was the de facto governor of South Jersey.
Yeah.
Right? He was the precursor to the Norcross type party leader, and when he ran for governor in 1989, he won in a landslide and was reminiscent of this year's election. The Democrats flipped the assembly to control. I don't remember whether the Senate was up that year or not, but I know that they took control of the assembly, because I distinctly remember a piece of then Governor-elect Florio's acceptance speech. In 1989, though, I was born and raised in a little town called Barrington, a borough in Camden County, and in 1989, I managed to be the only Republican in Camden County to unseat an incumbent Democrat in the face of the Florio landslide. So that's how I got on the map in the first place. The reason for telling that story is because many of your viewers know that I was elected freeholder in Camden County in 1990, but it's important, I think, in this current time to mention 1989. It was a Democrat landslide. By 1990, I was on the only ticket ever to beat George Norcross in a countywide election in Camden County. Why? Because Florio's first year as governor, there was this tremendous backlash because he wanted to raise taxes, and he put everybody still remembers
sales tax on toilet paper,
the infamous toilet paper tax. And so in the election in 1990, just a year later, we went from a Democrat landslide to a Republican landslide that was such a landslide, we even elected Republican freeholders in Camden County. That was the last time that's ever happened, 50 years ago. But the point of the story is the following year, 1991, was another Republican landslide where we took supermajorities in both houses of the legislature in 1991. And then in 92, the Bill Clinton landslide, I lost my council seat.
Wow.
So it was a Democrat landslide in 92, followed by 93. And as we all remember, we were Florio free in 93.
Yeah.
So in the span of that 5-year window, there were 2 Democrat landslides and 3 Republican landslides. And I happened to be, like, that was the sweet spot of my political career, so I remember it very, very well. But it is, there's wailing and gnashing of teeth now. The Republicans are done in New Jersey. The Republicans are done in the country. The Republicans are going to get smoked in the midterms. The Republicans are never going to win another election again. I'm like, stop. That's not how this goes. So I would be very surprised if next year is a good year for the Democrats, at least locally. I'm not willing to predict what's going to happen to the House of Representatives or even the Senate as a whole. But Jeff Andrews, our member of Congress from this district, Jeff's going to win handily. And the MAGA voters who might have stayed home this year because they don't care much about state politics are very likely to come back out next year and support Jeff. Jeff was a supporter of the president in the sense that everybody knows he switched parties because he wouldn't participate in a sham impeachment. So he changed parties, and people are going to remember that. Some people are going to remember it not so fondly, but some people are going to remember it with gratitude. And he'll do particularly well. I'm sure he'll do very well here next year. And right below Jeff on the ballot is going to be Sheriff Michael Donato. Donato is he's a popular sheriff. He's all over the county. He's getting some stuff done all over the county. I know his sheriff's department has been very helpful here in Millville as you're dealing with a police shortage. So the sheriff, and he's a frenetic campaigner. I know you call him the general. And the commissioners, Jim Sorrow, Sandy Taylor, and Art Marchand, they're up for re-election next year too.
They're great campaigners.
They're also great campaigners, and life is a series of experiences, right?
It is, yes.
Right, and so we learn from our experiences, and sometimes that includes losses, and you learn from your losses. Yeah. So trust me when I tell you, we've learned from our losses. We know what they're doing, and I know how to adjust for that. I've been doing this an awfully long time, because one thing I will say about myself, and in a sort of a narcissistic way, I have to give Senator Testa credit for allowing me to work in Cumberland County the way he has, for embracing me, because I don't live in Cumberland County, I live in Atlantic County. And so one of the problems that we have always had as a party, Democrats don't seem to have it as much as the Republicans do, but everybody feels like you have to live where you work. You got to work where you live. Well, I live in the most Republican town in Atlantic County per capita. Happens to be in Testa's district. That's how we connected in 2019. Right. But it's a tiny little town, 600 houses, I think. But here's a trivia point for you. Everybody knows that Vineland is the largest city in the state of New Jersey by land area.
Exactly.
Right? Everybody knows that. Now, it's not the largest municipality, but it's the largest city. In fact, Morris River Township is larger than Vineland. Vineland's not the largest municipality, but it's the largest city. What I didn't even know until very recently is that the second largest city in the state is Estelle Manor City, where I live.
No kidding.
It's the second largest city in the state. So I spend all of my time going back and forth between the largest city in the state and the second largest city in the state. But where I was going was, I cut my teeth in Camden County.
Yeah,
right.
God bless you.
Right, a Republican in Camden County.
Yeah.
Cumberland County is a Democrat county.
Yeah.
It's not a Republican county.
You've helped make it Republican.
Well, the government, right? We made the government Republican. Nine of the 10 seats were controlled by Republicans. Now we've given back a little bit of that ground, but that's the whole point. Winning in a county where you have the voter majority doesn't train you for what it takes to win in a county where you don't have the voter registration majority. And so I said in one of my ads, I'm going to throw down the gauntlet, here it is. If you think I haven't learned from what's happened the past 2 years, and that we're not going to re-engineer our campaigns over the next year to make sure that we retain control of this board of commissioners, then you don't know my background. You don't know what I do. And that's what's going to happen this year for sure.
Well, I'm impressed. We'll be back with Joe Condo to talk more about the election results right after these messages. Do you want some water?
Looking for a hidden gem on the other Jersey Shore? Discover the Hotel Charlesworth in Fortescue, New Jersey, where charm meets elegance. Enjoy fine dining, breathtaking views of the bay, and the warm welcome of your host, Sybil. And ladies, every guest gets to pick a free piece of jewelry, most often a beautiful ring. Because perfection deserves privacy. Reservations only. Call 856-447-4928. The Hotel Charlesworth, Fortescue's best kept secret, on the other Jersey Shore in Fortescue, New Jersey.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born right here in America. With more than 41 years of service to our valued customers, Advanced Treads in Norman, New Jersey is South Jersey's full-service distributor of General Tires. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tires, anywhere is possible. Advanced Treads, 1325 West Landis Avenue in Norman, New Jersey. Call them today at 856-696-5004.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. I would like to ask our viewers if you would message me on Facebook. We were having some technical difficulties in the first part of the program, so we restarted it. So let us know if it's gotten a little better this time around. We hope so. And Jim Quinn, along with Joe Condo, talking about the election from a couple of weeks ago, and it was interesting. And Joe mentioned, it was surprising that I think Mikey Sherrill did so well, and that carried over to helping the 2 county commission candidates in Cumberland County. But Joe, when you think about it, though, the top of the ticket would have been Mikey Sherrill and then Jack Chitterelli. So if I'm a voter and I'm going to vote for Mikey Sherrill, you would think they would go down and vote for Carolyn and Carol, the 2 assembly counties. They didn't. They skipped that and they went right over to Antoine and to Eric. So, that, I guess, is one thing. Boy, look at the difference. That's a large difference, isn't it?
Yeah, 13 points. I mean, no one,
Holy cow.
I say no one on our side of the aisle saw it coming. And I will say this in a somewhat self-protectionist mode. If the people in our camp saw it coming and didn't tell us, then they did us a disservice, because we were running our campaign on the belief that we were in the margins, as they say. Jack was pretty much always behind, but polls, as you know, have a margin of error, usually 2, 3, 4 points.
Exactly.
And if the difference in the candidates is within the margin of error, we call it euphemistically within the margins, which means it's effectively a neck and neck race, right? Too close to call.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be real close.
And so did we. And so we behaved as if it were going to be close. Had we known Jack was down by 10 or more points. Now, I don't know whether the Chitterelli campaign or the New Jersey GOP knew that there was this landslide coming. And if they did, they didn't tell us. I'll say it right out, that they did us a disservice if they didn't tell us. And if they didn't know, I don't know why they didn't know. But I will say, as I've said before on your program and on others, the ground game is quiet. You see the airmail, you see the television ads, you see the lawn signs, which I don't want to talk about lawn signs. I assume full responsibility for the travesty that were the Republican lawn signs this year. Also, we will fix that going into next year. But what you don't hear, what you can't really feel and see is the ground game, getting out your vote. And the Democrats clearly did a better job because, as I reiterate, Jack actually got more votes in 2025 than he did in 2021. He got more votes in 2025 than he did in
But
2021.
more Democrats came out and voted,
But
apparently.
Governor-elect Sherrill got 50% more votes than Governor Murphy did 4 years ago. And that seemed to hold true around the state, and it also held true here in Cumberland County, where let's say the Republicans had 17,000 votes in 2021, almost 19,000, I think, this year.
Wow.
But the Democrats got 50% more.
Jeez.
And one thing we noticed, at least in Cumberland, was that the governor-elect's coattails didn't actually carry down to the commissioners.
Right.
As you said, there was a
Yeah.
big tail off between the governor-elect and the commissioners. But you were talking about them, Antoine and Eric, Antoine McClellan and Eric Simonson. Yeah, there are their numbers. Those are the total numbers, and so of course Antoine and Eric were reelected, but that doesn't show the Cumberland County numbers.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Somewhat disappointingly, the Cumberland County, Antoine and Eric did not carry Cumberland County, and historically, and this, I just have to say this. Historically, the strategy was you had to win Cape May County by more than you lose Cumberland County, and you win the first legislative district, and that's still the case. Cumberland County is a Democrat county, and in a year like this, one would be surprised to see the county go Republican, except for one point, and this is no slight on Eric or Antoine, but when these candidates are all from Cape May County.
Yeah.
And so with Senator Testa, the Cumberland County native,
Right.
is on the ballot.
Yeah, they would have done
We carry
much better.
Cumberland County
Yeah.
by big numbers.
Yeah.
We carry Vineland
Yes.
by
Yeah.
relative. I wouldn't say big numbers, but we carry Vineland with senators.
I remember you had told me a while back it'll be a test this year because Senator Testa wasn't on the ticket with Antoine and with Eric.
Right, and I think what we learned, and I say it to you all the time, there's only so much I'm willing to publicize on your program, but I think this one is self-evident, and that is that we learned that without the senator on the ballot, we need to take a different tack in Cumberland County to bump those numbers up. Now, in the end, the same thing still holds true.
Yep.
As long as you win the district, this is not an electoral college vote.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter if you win a county, lose a county. That's not how this race is judged. This race is judged on total votes. So, and Eric and Antoine got the total votes they needed, and they deserve. They deserve to be reelected. It also bodes well for Congressman Van Drew's reelection campaign. We did in Cumberland County portion of the 3rd legislative district. Now, the Republicans did not win the 3rd legislative district.
Yeah.
It was closer than I think people thought it would be. Some people thought it would be. I personally thought that we were going to win that race, but that's also before I realized that we were down 13 points in the gubernatorial race.
You thought Dave Bailey was going to lose?
Yeah, I thought Conwell. And more, but just because of the heavily Republican nature of the district. Now,
that's true.
Now we carried the Cumberland County portion of the 3rd district. We carried by 20 points.
Wow.
So it really does matter where you
Gloucester
are.
County votes, is that what?
Gloucester County, yes.
Because Salem's Republican.
Salem's Republican. We carried Salem County. We carried Cumberland County, but we weren't able to prevail in Gloucester. Now, Gloucester, we're really moving away from Cumberland County. Now we're talking about Gloucester County politics, but Gloucester had a control election this year, and the Democrats have had control of Gloucester County since forever. So there's no way the Democrats weren't going to fight tooth and nail to keep control of Gloucester County.
I see.
So we knew that going in, that was probably the most important race in South Jersey, and in their effort to keep control of Gloucester County, that obviously hurt the Republicans in the 3rd district. So we sort of saw we knew that was coming and compensated for it, but everybody got caught up in the same tsunami. And the election in the 3rd district was pretty close. I don't suppose you have the 3rd district numbers, but but the election was pretty close. And I think in an ordinary year that didn't have this kind of backlash, we would have won that race.
That's interesting. Well, anyway, Commissioner Sandy Taylor is watching us. Sandy, nice having you along. And Dante Land And anybody that's watching wants to let us know, can you hear us better this time? Because we restarted the show with trying to get the audio improved. Anyway, we'll be back with more to talk about the election for a couple of weeks ago, right after these messages.
The most important
Rebecca's.
decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Imagine living without pain. For over 35 years, Doctors Beebe and Doyle have helped thousands of people find relief from all types of pain. Millville Chiropractic Center has 4 doctors on staff specializing in hands-on or light-touch, drug-free pain relief methods. The examination, x-rays, therapies, and adjustments are all performed at one location. Schedule a consultation today. Enjoy life without pain and discomfort. Millville Chiropractic Center, the area's #1 pain relief center.
Looking for a hidden gem on the other Jersey Shore? Discover the Hotel Charlesworth in Fortescue, New Jersey, where charm meets elegance. Enjoy fine dining, breathtaking views of the bay, and the warm welcome of your host, Sybil. And ladies, every guest gets to pick a free piece of jewelry, most often a beautiful ring. Because perfection deserves privacy. Reservations only. Call 856-447-4928. The Hotel Charlesworth, Fortescue's best kept secret, on the other Jersey Shore in Fortescue, New Jersey.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. Joe Condo is my guest, and we're talking about the election from a couple of weeks ago. And Joe, to the Republicans' credit, 4 years ago, you took over Millville, and this year, you got some really good people elected that have Republican ties.
Right. And I would say they got themselves elected. That's for sure.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to take credit for something we didn't do. But there's the Millville City Commission race. Because it's a nonpartisan
Right.
race, the Republican Party technically has to stay out of it. Everybody knows who the Democrats are and who the Republicans are, but this year, I think, if you count up, I think you end up with 19
Candidates.
candidates, and for various reasons, I personally promised a whole bunch of them that I would stay out of this race, and I did. I wish I could take credit for this result. But I can't. But I think you have what I do think we have is what we do have, other than Carol Casaboon, who was reelected, 4 new folks, and you're right, all 4 of them, Mayor Dixon or Mayor-elect Dixon, and then we have Commissioner Cott, Commissioner Ranello, and Commissioner Taylor, all have ties to the party. They are nonpartisan, of course, but they're in for 4 years. And the important thing that I see coming out of this is I am hopeful that the 4 of them, and certainly Carol will work with anybody. So she's just great. So I would hope that the 5 of them can, work together, perhaps in a better way than the current commission has been working, and that they will work with the county commissioners, perhaps more cooperatively.
Yes, right.
Than the city commissioners have over this past term. So it was a little bit disappointing to get. We had 4 Republicans elected 4 years ago. There was 1 Democrat. I think that's going to be the new pattern: 4 Republicans and 1 Democrat. But the last election, one of my favorite people in the world, even though he happens to be a Democrat, Jim Quinn, was elected, but you chose to retire instead. Yeah. So we ended up with five Republicans on the city commission, but it just never really worked the way we had hoped it would work. So I'm very optimistic about these folks. I know them all. I like them all. I'm optimistic about the opportunities it provides.
I agree with you. I mean, Dan Dixon, what a great guy. And he's a businessman. He's got a lot of drive. He can sell. He's got time. The good thing, like when I was the mayor, I had a lot of time. So I'd go to City Hall every day, even though it's a part-time job. But I felt it was helpful for the people that work there to know the mayor cared and to be learning from them as to what went on in the city.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Dan's going to do a lot of that. And then, of course, as you look, let me give Carol a lot of credit here, too. Carol Cossaboon finished second.
Yeah.
And when they were talking about how they're going to reorganize, the second place finisher in the city of Millville is usually the Revenue and Finance Director,
Right.
in charge of personnel, Revenue and Finance. And she said to Mayor-elect Dan Dixon, I don't want to do that. I like the department I have now. So anyway, the good thing is Rick, and I guess Marissa Ranello must have said the same thing. So Rick Cott, even though he finished fourth, is going to be the vice mayor. I love Rick. Rick's a great guy,
Yeah.
does a super job. And, and as you mentioned, Marissa Ranello really cares and put a lot of time and effort in. And Sherman Taylor worked for me when he was here
Yeah.
years ago as
Yeah.
a kid.
I'm not in the business of pointing out errors on your slides, but I think that number 6 there is meant to be the 6th highest vote getter, which not quite right. It's Heather Garrison.
It is, that's right.
And
Yeah.
I point that out, not to point out the error in the slide, but to point out how close Heather came to Sherman Taylor. They
Yes,
were actually
yeah.
only apart by a couple of votes.
6 votes.
And so when I look at the county commissioner's race, which wasn't decided until a week after the election, it was too close to
Yeah,
call.
right.
When I look at this race, 46 votes
Yeah.
between Commissioner-elect Taylor and Ms. Garrison. People that say my vote doesn't matter, your vote matters, and so we're all going to focus a little bit more effort on getting out the vote next year. I can assure you that.
I was shocked that Joe Torella did not get in the top 5 at
Yeah.
all, because Joe, very well qualified, was vice mayor for many years, freeholder director and all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah,
people lean more Republican, as we talked about too.
right.
And Joe,
Yeah, I am a bit surprised that Commissioner Dorella did not get back in. But as I said, I was, and I'm looking at the current mayor, Mayor Romanek. I actually saw Mayor Romanek earlier today. It's a shame for Mayor Romanek, but he's still plugging along, and he's a shout out to Ben Romanek for stepping up to that job as the mayor at his age. He that is part of the way that your government works. The top vote
Yeah.
getter becomes
Yeah.
the mayor, and Mayor Romanek embraced that job, and unfortunately he won't be able to continue in that role, but he'll certainly continue. He's got a long runway. He's a young man.
Yeah.
He's got a long runway,
Yeah.
and I suspect we haven't heard the last of Ben Romanek. That's for sure.
and to his credit, he's the youngest mayor ever in the city's history.
Is that
So,
right?
Yep.
Right. So
Yeah.
within the past 4 years, you had the first female mayor in the city's history and the youngest mayor
That's
in the
true.
city's
Yeah.
history.
They finished 1-2.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Very good. Very good.
We'll be back to talk more about the election that occurred a few weeks ago with Joe Condo right after these messages.
Looking for a hidden gem on the other Jersey Shore? Discover the Hotel Charlesworth in Fortescue, New Jersey, where charm meets elegance. Enjoy fine dining, breathtaking views of the bay, and the warm welcome of your host, Sybil. And ladies, every guest gets to pick a free piece of jewelry, most often a beautiful ring. Because perfection deserves privacy. Reservations only. Call 856-447-4928. The Hotel Charlesworth, Fortescue's best kept secret, on the other Jersey Shore in Fortescue, New Jersey.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. With more than 41 years of service to our valued customers, Advanced Treads in Norman, New Jersey is South Jersey's full-service distributor of General Tires. We feature a complete line of passenger vehicle tires, light truck, farm, and commercial tires. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tires, anywhere is possible. Advanced Treads, 1325 West Landis Avenue in Norman, New Jersey. Call them today at 856-696-5004. When you need tires, there is only one name you can trust: Advanced Treads of Norman, New Jersey.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. Jim Quinn along with Joe Condo, and we're talking about the election from a few weeks ago, and it was different than I think a lot of people thought, Joe. But again, as you look at it, other than the governor, the Republicans did well. You won both. You didn't do well in the county.
I wouldn't say that we did well.
No, that's right. The county race, no. Assembly race, you did well. And Millville, you did well.
Right. And
now, any other towns?
Cumberland County is interesting when it comes to the municipal elections. And this, I will say loudly to any of my Republican friends who are listening, when we don't have contested municipal elections, we don't always produce the best organizational support in the towns. And there's Vineland, Millville, and Bridgeton, of course, and then what we fondly call the 4th district, the rest of the county, because the rest of the county is as big as it's somewhere between Millville and Vineland in size.
Yeah, that's a good
so
point.
if it were 4 municipalities, we would be talking about the rest of the county as if it were the second largest municipality in the county. So I'm not giving away too much. Everybody sees the votes come in. I mean, we absolutely swamped the Democrats in the 4th district in the towns.
Right.
So I mean, we about broke even in Millville. They beat us in Bridgeton by about what we would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't perform as well in Vineland as now. Again, we always perform well in Vineland when Senator Testa's on the ticket. He's born and raised in Vineland.
Yep.
He's got a fine family that's been in Vineland forever.
Yep.
So he's got a lot of draw on the Vineland vote that we didn't have with us this year. But as far as the municipalities go, there was not one single contested municipal election. Vineland had no election at all because they do like Millville once every 4 years. They have a nonpartisan election. So Vineland had no election this year. Bridgeton had no election. Of course, everybody has school board elections, but there was no government election. And the Millville election we just talked about, and the Republican county commissioner candidates came within 200 votes. In Millville, a very, very, very close election, and as you identified, 4 of the 5 victors in the city commission race have ties to the Republicans. But in the other 11 municipalities, there was not a single contested election.
Wow.
Greenwich was Democrat, run unopposed. Fairfield, well, I guess to be fair to Fairfield, there were 2 Democrats and 2 independents running, but they were not Republican endorsed independents. So I believe that the Democrat factionalism there. But other than Fairfield and Greenwich, every other town is Republican, and it's XO Republican. 3, 5, 7, however many members they have. Democrats don't even run candidates in those towns, and we turn out pluralities of 70% or more in some of these towns.
Yeah.
So, which of course is why, like where I live, I said earlier that I live in the most Republican town in Atlantic County. About 75% of the vote goes to the Republicans. There are no Democrats. There are no independents. It's just 5 of Republican. And that's what we have in all of the towns, and we're obviously going to continue to defend that in all of the municipalities. So, as I said earlier, we might have lost seats, but and I don't mean just in Cumberland County. I mean the Republican Party as a whole. We might have lost seats, but we really didn't lose power. As far as I know, nothing major was flipped to the Democrats. There might have been some municipalities, but in Cumberland County, not a single municipality flipped, not a single local seat flipped.
The county didn't flip.
The county didn't. The control of the county didn't flip. So it was a setback, but it certainly didn't cost us. But it's an obvious shame for Doug Albrecht and Tory Lodes, two incumbent commissioners, not get reelected. They deserved to be reelected. It's just a difficult situation here because, as you know, Cumberland County has been Democrat for 50 years.
Yeah.
This is the first time the Republicans have ever had more than a single year of control. We will have at least 4 years of control, and I suspect more than that. I have no doubt that Sheriff Donato and Commissioners Sorrow and Marchand Taylor will be reelected this year, and then we'll have another control election the year after that, and another one the year after that. So
it's 4-3. Yeah.
Right, it's 4-3. Yeah, it's 4-3 now. So the next 3 elections are going to be control elections, and it should be lots of fun. So we're up to that task. And I go back to what I said earlier. If you were raised in a majority county, then you kind of know how to win with your voter plurality. But when you were raised like I was, in the extreme minority in Camden County, you learn a few tricks on how to win in Democrat-controlled counties. And we're going to pull every trick out of the bag this year, I can assure you.
Well, you guys have done a great job up till now, for sure. I mean,
Right.
I remember at one point there was one Democrat. Was it Joe? Or one Republican, Joe Sbracio.
Joe Sbracio.
Who I loved. He was the only Republican on the county commission.
Right. And then in 2019, when Commissioner Sbracio was deployed and wasn't able to run for re-election, that's when Commissioner Albrecht got elected.
Right.
And it was still 6-1.
Yep.
It was 6-1 Democrat.
Yep.
So the board went from 6-1 Democrat with 3 Democrat row officers, the row officers being the clerk, the sheriff, and the surrogate. From 6-1 Democrat with 3 Democrat row officers to 7-0 Republican with 1 Democrat row officer. Out of the 10 county seats, Celeste Riley was the only Democrat to survive. Now, of course, the Democrats have picked up a couple of seats in the past 2 elections, but let's face it, there's still 6 Republicans and 4 Democrats in a Democrat county. Let's not be counting the Republicans out.
Well, and I tell you, honestly, folks, and I mean this sincerely, Mike Donato and Jimmy Sorrow, Sandy Taylor, and Art Marchand, when they were running, I saw them everywhere. They were out pounding on doors, doing the job that they needed to do. And they called Mike Donato the general because he got after him. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And they did a great job. And he was able, let me tell you, Mike Donato unseated a very popular long-term sheriff in Bob Ostino. Of course, Bob, fortunately, is now county commissioner, because he had great name recognition. And Bob, in fact, one of the times years ago when I was campaigning for county freeholder, Bob walked with me, and he knew everybody. And, talking about somebody that knows everybody, it's Doug Albrecht. He is personable, and everybody knows him, and, all that type of stuff. But, again, timing-wise, and I really like Tory Lodes, as I've said. And
Doug has always been a great campaigner. He's not afraid to get out there. He works tirelessly. He talks to people. He gets he likes to talk to people. He does like to talk to people. He does like to talk to people. But as Senator Testa himself has pointed out on so many occasions, there are environmental wins and then there are candidate victories. And the environmentals this year were just not favorable, and unfortunately for the Republicans. And so, unfortunately, Doug and Tory got caught up in that. And I go back to my own, as I said earlier, my 1992 bid. I went from being the only Republican to unseated incumbent Democrat in the face of the Florio landslide to getting booted out of office 3 years later in the Bill Clinton landslide. So the environment was not good.
Well, I tell you,
and I know it wasn't my job as councilman. It had to be because of the environment.
Well, it's funny. I think I've talked about this to you before. With my opportunity to run, 1982, I ran in a primary against the Democratic Party, and I won. So Ed Salmon and I ran together in 82, and Bill Hughes was the congressman, and
Yeah.
we won big. Well, 1985 comes, and my favorite governor, that darn Tom Kean, is running. He is so popular. I don't know, other than Ed Salmon and I, if any Democrat freeholders won that year. And a friend of mine, Jimmy Parent, said after the election, and I survived by the skin of my teeth, he goes, Jim, if you can survive in a Kean landslide, you can survive any time. But I didn't. I lost in the Florio backlash.
Well, I didn't go back. I went back to the beginning of my career in 1989, but in 1985 was when we took 3 Republican seats on the Board of Commissioners,
that's when that was
then
the
the Board of
Kean
Freeholders,
landslide.
in the
Yeah.
Kean landslide of 85, as we got those, and this is how the pendulum keeps swinging. 85 was the Kean landslide, 88 was the Reagan landslide, 89 was the Florio landslide, 90 was the anti-Florio landslide, 92 was the Clinton landslide. And so if you've been in politics as long as we have, you've seen these elections come and go. So anybody that sees my Facebook post, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you move on.
Boy, I tell you, I have to give the Republican Party a lot of credit. Just about every Republican that I've served with in county government have been wonderful people. As I mentioned, Joe Sparacio, I feel like he's a son. Carmen D'Addario, Tom Shepard, just good people. And I enjoyed serving with them. I really did. I'm sure there's more. I'm just not thinking off the top of my head.
Mm.
But that was a pleasure. And to the Republican Party, you brought up quality people. And, and we're talking about now, the townships, my goodness, they're almost all, except for Greenwich and Fairfield, all Republican controlled. And, they do a good job.
The only other Democrat elected official in the municipalities is Joe Milletta in Lawrence Township.
That's right.
But
and they leave it that way.
Well, they leave it that way, and in Lawrence Township, even the Democrats are Republicans. So
yeah, that's a neat township. I love Skip Bowman and Joe Milletta.
Skip Bowman's the best. I think he's the longest serving elected official, right? And I don't know by how many years. 40 years he's probably been in, maybe
close
more.
To it, yeah.
So Skip is just great.
I hope he's feeling better. And he's been.
Yeah, I saw him. It's been a couple months now, but I saw him a couple of months ago, and he looked like he was through the worst of it. He was doing better.
I really enjoy his personality.
Great guy.
And let me tell you something, Senator Testa is amazing. Here's a man who is from a fabulous family, as Joe talked about earlier, and he's charismatic, he's handsome, he speaks well. I mean, the man could go anywhere he wants. He'll never lose that seat, and he can probably move up to whatever he would like to move up to. And to his credit, he's done a wonderful job, great family, and proud of him. I really am.
Yeah. I'm so happy and so thankful. I said earlier, the Stell Manor, where I live, is part of the 1st Legislative District. That's how I met Senator Testa back in 2019 when he ran in a special election in 2019. Mm-hmm. So I got involved in his campaign, and that I had already been through, let's call it the pole barn circuit in Millville, so I was kind of familiar with Cumberland County to begin with, because I've been down here for a lot of years hanging out, but not inserting myself in the political arena until Mike ran for senator in 2019, and the rest is history. So he has done a tremendous job. I love the line he used. Our overnight success was 10 years in the making. I think he was chairman since 2014, senator, of course, since 2019, and has done just a tremendous job of building a real Republican organization here in Cumberland County. And it makes my job so much easier to have an organization to work with.
Well, he's blessed to have you too, Joe. I mean, I'm sure he'd say that as well, because you're organized, you know what you're doing, and you stay on top of it.
Right.
And that's the key, is surrounding yourself with the good people.
That's
and,
right.
To the Republican Party's credit, in Millville last year or 4 years ago, they took 4 of the 5 seats. I was the only one that got a seat. And then because of certain persons, I did not want to serve, and I got out. And then this was funny. That election night, this is the God's honest truth, I'm watching the results, and I'm praying I lose. I am praying, please, Lord, let me finish 6th. Let Bobby McQuaid beat me, because I don't want to be here, especially with one person that I did not like dealing with ever in the time I was in government. And finally, unfortunately, I did win, and I just said, no, I could not do it. And truthfully, it has not been a good 4 years. Joe, I don't know if I told you this. Next door to me is Peter Lumber Company.
Mm-hmm.
One building away from me, we had a murder on a third Friday here.
Oh, wow.
My daughter's in the building hearing the gunshots. I mean, this is horrible, horrible. And downtown Millville, at least 50-60% is empty stores. And Dan Dixon had a great line talking about economic development. He said, I looked at the economic development in the last 4 years they did. He said, basically, one project in 4 years, is that good? No, it's not good.
No.
So, I was very disappointed with the past, although I'm excited now for the future. Thank
Right.
God the Millville voters put in, I think, 5 good candidates. I think the world of Dan Dixon. Rick Cott, I've known forever. Sherman Taylor worked for me. He's a good guy. Carol Costaboot, everybody loves her. And Marissa Brunell, I don't know real well, but I'd like to get to know her, and I'm sure she'll put a lot of good effort into
Yeah,
being a commissioner.
Marissa Vernello is great, and she'll round out that team too very well. So,
And
it's
that's
a real
really
good,
good.
real good team. It looks like. Today.
Yeah, it really does. Well, Joe, thank you, buddy, for coming
Jim,
in.
always a pleasure. Thank you
Same
for having
here.
me. I very
My
much
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank
Anytime.
you. Joe's going to have his own show in another month and a half or so.
Another month and a half, right?
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yes, don't go away. Anyway, thank you, George Kachia, for producing the show tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful evening. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.